Okay.
It's live. Should be fine now. Because I rotated it before you started. Yep, it's good. Yep, it's good. Good now.
Just stand there so I can see you.
Testing.
Okay.
It's good if you go over here.
Yeah.
Here. Still see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good here. Is there a way to put it in 4K?
I don't know. It's fine. What? It's not coming on.
You?
Yeah, it's fine.
These are filters. Let's see. So it should.
It's fine. It's not coming on. What's this? What's that up here?
No. These are filters. Okay, let's see. Seminar starts in 10 minutes. It might be too loud for them to hear you. It's HD now. Yeah, you have to stay in between that. Right now you're out.
Huh?
You have to stay in between the bags. Yeah. And don't cross into the black.
Okay.
Stay in the red.
Huh?
Stay in the red.
Right here.
Yeah. It's all fine. You could even come closer.
Right here.
You can even come closer, yeah. Yeah.
Right back here.
Mm-hmm. All of this area is fine. Go over there.
You can move with the lady.
You can even come closer. Count down from 10.
Huh?
Count down from 10.
Huh?
10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand in the middle and count down from 10.
What?
Stand in the middle and count down from 10.
Here. Count down from 10.
Yeah.
10,
10, 9, 8, 7. So you can hear it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can hear it?
Yeah. Just even speak up a little louder. Because you have the music in the back.
Should be more than that.
Hasn't started. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I told her to share on your Facebook. I told her to share it on your Facebook.
Yeah, but you only have so many followers. I put a video up, I'll have 5,000 people. Huh?
That's over months.
Sure.
That's over months. It starts in 2 minutes. I don't even have to follow you because you're good. You know? I don't even have to move it. It's perfect. Just leave
Hey guys, welcome to my JKD Academy. My name is Sifu Jewish Nasser. I welcome everyone for coming today and watching this mini seminar. I call it. We're gonna go as long as we can. I will actually share it later on YouTube so you guys could watch it. If you miss anything, if you have any questions, please comment, ask a lot of questions. I'll do my best to respond to every single question later on. I haven't been doing much, so I've been coming here to do some training. As you see, we're not allowed to have any students. I miss all my students. So hopefully next week we'll open and we'll get everybody back in here. We'll start training again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over some things, very basic stuff, and we're gonna try to answer questions as we go. If not, I'll answer them later on. But I'm gonna go over some basics and I'm gonna go over some more advanced stuff. And if you guys, you might, be familiar with some of the stuff I'm gonna show, and you might not be familiar with some of it, that's okay. So what I teach is, I teach JKD, the system without a system. As you notice, it says JKD, the system without a system. And there's a reason for that, not because I'm trying to go over what Sijo means grandmaster or founder of a system, which is Bruce Lee. Everybody knows that. So JKD, the system without a system, if you actually look it up, you'll see that I found the actual system without a system. And it's all because legality. That means, because I don't want to interfere with the actual JKD, like the foundation and so forth, so I try to stay away from that. So I teach my own stuff, but it's all based on Bruce Lee's philosophy, theory, and thinking, and the way JKD was developed. From the beginning of Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do, it's not June Fan. A lot of people, they call it June. It's not the month of June, and it's not a fan. So it's Jun Fan. So Jun Fan is is Bruce Lee's name. His name is Lee Jun Fan. This is Bruce Lee. He was the founder of Jeet Kune Do. So at the beginning of his life in Korea, he actually was teaching Jun Fan Kung Fu, it was in Seattle. He taught Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do, which is Jun Fan Kung Fu Institute. Then he changed it to JKD, which is Jeet Kune Do. When he went to LA and so forth, he started teaching. So back in the 1960s, like 1964, and so Bruce Lee was developing JKD. A lot of people, they say Jeet Kune Do was developed and actually was founded around 1967 because that's what it was written in the notes. I believe that, and I still do, it was around 1965. So if you actually really do the research, you'll notice that Bruce Lee himself says it was founded by him around 1965. So maybe he didn't write it down until 1967, but I always strongly believe that Jeet Kune Do was founded around 1965. But it's okay, we could agree to disagree, but you can do your own research. But in the actual Bruce Lee's notes, it was written in 1967. So at the beginning of his life, he actually taught Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do, or Jun Fan Kung Fu, whatever you want to call it. So he was teaching the Wing Chun system. The Wing Chun system is the actual base of JKD. A lot of Jeet Kune Do guys, they don't want to learn Wing Chun. I actually believe that I hate to use the word lazy, they just don't want to do more in depth into JKD. I did. So what I did at the age of 8, I was watching Bruce Lee and I wanted to learn exactly what he did. So I would follow his teaching, I would follow his movies and so forth. So I followed everything, and then I did my own research. So I realized that Bruce Lee was teaching, and he was teaching Jun Fan Kung Fu, then he was learning the Wing Chun system. So when he came to the States, he started teaching Kung Fu, okay, with the G, not with the K, not Kung Fu, it's Kung Fu. So he was teaching Wing Chun based on Ip Man's, tree. So he was teaching that, and he got in trouble and so forth, and he changed it to JKD. So Kung Fu is a huge part of JKD. I always taught it. So when I teach JKD here in the school, I would teach Kung Fu, which is actual Wing Chun. So I would teach the Wing Chun system. I don't teach the whole system, even though I know a lot, and I studied pretty much the whole system in the Wing Chun. Now I'm not going to say I'm a master in Wing Chun, and neither am I a master in JKD. But I'm still a student, and I still train and try to develop my mind and my body, and I still do my own research. So actually, when Bruce Lee did it, he was teaching Wing Chun. He only knew the first form, which is Siu Nim Tao. Siu Nim Tao means the little idea. So there's 108 movements in the Wing Chun form, the first form, and it's called Siu Nim Tao, the little idea. So if you notice Bruce Lee doing Siu Nim Tao at the beginning, when he was doing Jun Fan Kung Fu, a lot of his students back then, they did know the actual Wing Chun Siu Nim Tao form. But if you notice now, a lot of JKD guys don't even do it. So my thing is I follow these teachings step by step. So I learned Siu Nim Tao, Chung Q, BG, and the Mukyan John, which is the wooden dummy. And I believe Bruce Lee never learned the actual wooden dummy because Ip Man himself wouldn't teach him the wooden dummy. So Bruce used to have his own set on the wooden dummy form. So what I did is I would research, so that's how I came up with my own JKD The System Without a System. And again, I try to stay away from political, and I try to stay away from, getting cease and desist and things like that. So a lot of JKD guys out there, they actually use the core symbol. If you notice, the core symbol here is different from the core symbol that's on my wall. So I'm going to grab a shirt so you can see it bigger. Am I still? Okay, so if you notice this shirt here, this is the core symbol. Okay, I'm going to bring it in closer so you can see. Is that a good, right there? Okay, so if you notice, you have the Chinese writing. This is the original symbol that Bruce Lee created for his system, JKD, and I hate to call it a system because it wasn't a system, it was a method, okay, based on his theory and philosophy. So if you notice, it's written in Chinese. You get the yin and yang, yum yum it's called, and you have the two arrows, the fluidity, so represents its continuity here. So you always process of learning. And you notice the Chinese writing. If you notice on my wall, there's actually 10 arrows. Now, again, I don't want no lawyers calling me. A lot of JKD guys use this. They should actually do their own research. You're not allowed to use the core symbol. The core symbol is only for the Bruce Lee Foundation. So unless you get permission from them, you're not allowed to use this symbol. So I try to sleep good at night. I don't want any headaches. I created my own system, not to be disrespectful to Bruce Lee. Actually, I'm respecting him and respecting his family by using my own core symbol. And I'm not the founder. So if you notice, there's an R, which is registered trademark. So that actual logo is trademark. So a lot of you guys, JKD guys out there, you better be careful when you use this symbol, unless you have an actual permission from the Lee family to use it. You cannot use this symbol. So again, I like to rank my students. There's actually 10 arrows, and they represent the actual 7 sachets that I give to my students. And I give them 3 certificates. The 3 certificates, which is the first stage, the partiality, which is exactly what C.J. Bruce developed. The second stage, fluidity, they're on the wall. We'll turn the camera later so you can see them. And the last one's called emptiness. So once you develop these 3 stages, you get certificates. And it takes about, with me, if you actually train with me, it's going to take 7 to 8 years. Okay? So I'm going to do a shout out to my student, Derek. The guy's been with me for almost 10 years, and he still says, Sifu, I don't want any certificates yet because I don't feel I'm there yet. And I would love to give it to him. To me, I feel like he deserves it, but he always says, I don't want it. So that's a great student. So anyway, so the 3 stages and the 7 sachets represent the actual 10 arrows on the wall. So it's written in Chinese, Mo Ju Sing Yao Ju. Okay, that means the system without a system. So I'm going to explain this. A lot of JKD guys, I guarantee you, they don't know this. But that's why we're doing this seminar, so you guys could learn. So I'm going to focus more on the actual history, not so much like on the technique, but I am going to go over some techniques, so don't worry. It's not going to be all me talking. I'm sure you're not here to just watch me. But a lot of people love the knowledge behind this, because that's what I did. So it says here, Yamofa Vayalfa Yamohan Vayalhan. I don't speak Chinese, I speak Lebanese, and I speak Arabic. So, and what I did, I had to learn some Cantonese. So I have my top student, Brian. His wife, she's actually from Hong Kong, so she helps me out a lot with the actual pronunciation of the actual, how to pronounce things. So I always ask her how to pronounce things. So I try to do my best. So if you ever purchased my book, and so you'll notice I wrote it in phonetic. So for example, if I do the word pak sao, so instead of writing pak, P-A-C-K, sao, S-A-U, because a lot of people are not going to be able to read it, I write sao like cow, S-O-W. Or I would write tun sao, T-U-N-S-O-W instead, because a lot of people, that if you write tongue, like they're going to think it's tan. A lot of people write the word T-A-N, they're going to think it's tan, su, or something like that. But the actual pronunciation is tan sao, or pak sao. So this here, I'm going to go back to the core symbol. The core symbol says Yamofa, Vayalfa, Yamohan, Vayalhan. That means using no way as the way and having no limitation as limitation. That means you're not limited to one style of martial arts, and it's not somebody's way of doing it. There was a lot of students out there, one of Bruce's students, they would teach JKD, And if you don't follow a specific way of doing it, that means you're not doing JKD, for example. So they would either certify you or not certify you, which is I guess that's their prerogative. But to me, if he teaches me a specific way, his way only works for him. I'm 250 pounds. I put on a few pounds during this pandemic. What works for me doesn't work for a guy that's 110 pounds, for example, or 130 or 150. Each one's developed differently. So the way I would teach it is developed for people that each individual. So that's the whole idea behind this. A lot of people forget this core symbol, that it's so important. The words right under me, the writing is on the wall. He's saying using no way as the way and having no limitation as the limitation. So do not be limited to one thing and don't have one specific way of doing it. But there is actually a principle and theory we follow. So a lot of people, they want to step on that and move away from it. But again, don't ever forget the mother, which is the core, which is Wing Chun system. So you have to follow a specific way. So if I ever walk into a dojo, that means a Moken, which is the school, okay? If I went to like a karate school, they call it a dojo. So if I ever walk in and I see a JKD guy is standing like this, I mean, even though JKD is strong side forward, it's from fencing, which is, I'm going to explain all that, you'll notice the rear heel is up like this. So you could lead with your left hand if you're left-handed. You always put the strong side forward, right? So I'm gonna right lead. I'm righty, so I put my strong side forward because I use my right hand. So I use it like a fencer. What's important is the heel has to be up. So you have to move like a fencer. So you always put which is the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So you move like a fencer, but yet you act like a boxer, okay? And then you could add your actual kickboxing and so forth and things like that. So, but if you ever walk into a dojo and you notice a JKD guy standing like this, flat-footed, that tells me you don't know much about JKD. So that's why it doesn't mean like using nobody's way. That means don't follow the way. Like it's so contradicted. It's really, you gotta really, it's kind of mind-blowing. Siu Bruce was so, his mind was so deep into JKD. You really have to search him to understand him. So you cannot just do it and go like this and think that's JKD, okay? You cannot stand like this and tell me that's your way, because that's what Siu Bruce did. And that's what he told you to do. You don't use my way or the way. You have to use this. There's a certain way you have to follow, but you could change it, okay, to fit you as an individual, okay? But don't stand flat-footed and don't drop your hands or stand like a Muay Thai guy and assume that's JKD. I'm going to know right away that is not JKD. It's not based on anything that Bruce Lee thought and he was, showing us. So if you're like this and you stand like this, I might accept that because your heel is up, you have the same theory, you put your strong side forward, you're moving. But if I walk in and I see you wearing a belt and wearing a full uniform, but yet it says you're teaching JKD, again, I'm going to question that. Because even though I earned a black belt in the eclectic system, and I earned a black belt in kickboxing and so forth, no disrespect to either arts. I do follow Bruce's theory, belts only hold your pants up, right? But again, I do give belts. I got students that love the belts. The young kids, they love their belts. So it's important. It shows a great achievement for them. They need to see something. If you don't give them a belt, it doesn't, they need it. So anyway, but for me, as an instructor, if you walk in, you see me dressed up in a karate uniform, I'm not very serious about my JKD. But this is my uniform. I wear my regular t-shirt, my pants. I'm very comfortable. So I try to, follow that theory. But you cannot go and stand like this, or stand like this, or cover your face, or stand, this way, flat-footed, open up. There's a lot of theory and methods to follow in JKD. So I'm going to go over them, which is the most crucial way in JKD, the most crucial thing that's developed to develop your JKD is your center line. The center line is called Zhongsing. Zhongsing is your center line. It's so important. Where, as I said, you cannot stand like this because you're not protecting your center line. Okay? This is not protecting your center line. This is not protecting your center line. If I stand like this, that's not protecting my center line. When you protect your center line, we're going to go over the actual stance. We're going to go over footwork and things like that. And that's why we're going to follow the way. but because it's a particular way you have to follow it, but you could change it. You don't have to look like me. I mean, none of my students look like me, and I don't want to look like them, thank God. So anyway, and you notice a lot of people out there that try to imitate C.J. Bruce, and they're doing all that stuff, and they're just regular guys. You're not Bruce Lee, so don't try to imitate him. That's why Bruce didn't want them to imitate him, act like him, because they're not him, and I will never be him, and you know, and so forth. So it's very important that you understand that. So we're gonna go over the first basic form, which is the Wing Chun system. It's called Siu Nim Tao. And I'm gonna explain it step by step, which is very few people out there, Wing Chun guys, actually teach it step by step. Again, I'm not the best Wing Chun guy out there. I never claimed to be, but I understand the form. I understand it in and out. So what I mean by that, I understand the hand development, the body development, positioning, and the names, they are very important. So when I teach it, I teach the actual names in Chinese, Cantonese. So when you walk into a school or your first class, we're gonna teach the actual bow. The bow is called JKD Ginlai. So JKD Ginlai is the actual bow. So you have to show respect. So you can't walk in and it's like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? Let's do some JKD. That's being disrespectful. So that you're not respecting your teacher, you're not respecting the man on the wall, okay? And that I've been following his teaching and his legacy for almost 40 years. I opened my first school back in the 90s. So that tells you how long I've been doing JKD. A lot of people say, hey, Sifu Bruce, sorry, I'm not Bruce. Sifu Bruce was never certified, right? He was the actual founder of Jeet Kune Do. I was never certified in JKD, I'll be straight out with you. But I followed all of 13 of his students and I learned from each one and I learned a particular way of teaching it, okay? So a lot of people, they went to them, they got lucky, they got a certificate. But I didn't want it just from one person because one person did not have all the answers. Okay, so I went to all of them and I learned from all of them and I kind of created my own way and I developed my own way of teaching JKD based on Bruce's method and theory and on his students' method and theory. And I added my own stuff to make it better for George. So when I teach it in my class, a lot of students, they say, am I doing it right? No, you're doing it right for you. It's perfect as long as you're following the theory and the method, what we're trying to accomplish here. So we're going to go over some things. So the JKD Ginlai is very important that you bow. A lot of people in karate, we used to bow like this. I used to bow like this. So and at the beginning of the Zhongfang Kung Fu, if you notice C.J. Bruce and C.J. Taki, I guess, they would go here, right, and they turn. This is the first bow, so they would just went here, right? So what I did is I would start from the Wing Chun system, which is the first. If you notice, my bow is different, but it's actually I incorporate the old way into my new way. So I start with double X. So you see the X. My hand never touch. So when I go, this is called Sub Ji Sao. Sub Ji Sao means character 10 or X. So I would go feet together. I snap because every form in Wing Chun almost starts like this with the Sub Ji Sao motion. So I go Sub Ji, which is, I'm going to go back. It's called Hoi 6 sequence. The Hoi 6 sequence is the open in the stance. So the Hoi 6. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go Sub Ji Sao, Kuan Sao, rolling hand, Sao Kun, retract and fist. So my fist, it doesn't touch here, and my elbow never touches my body, or my ribs. In karate, though, when I used to teach karate or took karate, we used to do tight fist by your side. You snap. So everything, like when you snap it again, the gi is your actual uniform. It's called the gi. So you would snap, everything's tight. Where in Wing Chun, the actual fist is away from your body, and your elbow never touches your ribs. Okay? So we're going to start with the JKD Ginlai. So I incorporated 3 things into it. So the first bow is the actual from the Wing Chun to respect the Wing Chun system, which is the core of JKD. So we go Sub Ji Sao, Kuan Sao, Sao Kun, and bow. If you notice, my fist is closed. This one cups it. And then I would go into the development of this. This is called Jing Gyuk, which is invisible kick. I step here, nothing touches. My fist is closed, I cup it. I step in, and a lot of people used to go here. I stay open. The reason for that, because that's everything with the second you walk into my class, you're learning how to fight. So this one here is the actual one here. This is an actual kick to somebody's knee. You're breaking the knee as you step. And this is an actual strike to the side of the throat or the neck, right here. So you learn it to strike left and right to both sides. So I don't want you to go, I'm not bowing. So this is actually a block or strike. This is actually a block and strike. And this is actually a strike. And when I start, I go 1, 2, I strike. I roll back, and on the first bow, second bow, now I step out. I create my own, from the inside out, I'm doing the sunkun. So from inside here, I roll, and I snap out. And then I finish, and this is called sausik, means closing the stance. So if you notice, from the inside, I don't just go this way, because this has no power. The reason for that is somebody grabbing you with a lapel grab, or the choke, you cannot go like that. And I'm going to demonstrate on my son Noah. So I'm going to go from the inside out and punch inside here this way. So you generate power from your Jong-sing or from your Dantin, which is here, settles, or your Haegong, your internal energy settles here. So you're using the internal Haegong and you're snapping the punches out. And this is actually a strike to somebody's private area and a strike to somebody's private area. Okay? And you finish. Okay? So it has 3 actually movements. So we're going to start 1, 2, 3, bow, step, up, roll back, bow, step out, double punch, bring it back, finish. So that's JKD Gilai. So it's important. Before today, we go the actual development of JKD, which is we start doing footwork, Western boxing footwork and so forth. We have to develop, which is Siu Nim Tao, the little idea. So please pay attention and try to learn these things because it's important to teach them to your students. Because I could just do it, it looks good, but to understand what's behind it, it's more important. Because every movement is it's a fighting technique. So you learn how to defend yourself, you learn how to fight. So you're learning 108 little ideas to fight. So the first form is showing you how to learn to fight 108 movements or defend with them. And it's teaching you to develop a good structure and a good base and good snap for your hands and punches. So we're going to start with the first form. It's called Siu Nim Tao from the Wing Chun system. So the little idea. So it's going to start here. Sap Chi Sao, Kwan Sao, Sao Kun, bend, Hoi Ma, opening the horse, Yi Ji Kim Yin Ma, which is goat restraining stance or character 2. Okay, in Chinese, that's character 2. So it goes here, Sap Chi Sao, Kwan Sao, Sao Kun, bend. So the knee, I go here, I bend down forward. Now, again, some Wing Chun guys, they might, do it a different way. So that's why I said it's not their way. I do it my way to fit me as an individual. So you do it your way, okay? So we're going to bend, we're going to open Hoi, open Ma, horse, Yi Ji Kim Yin Ma, okay? We're going to snap again down, lift back up, and Sao Kun. So we place the fist on the sun line. It's called Ya Ji Chung Kun. Character, this is the punch, okay? Character sun here, Ya Ji Chung Kun. I open, circle, close, bring it back. So it goes 1, 2, open, 3. So the punch from the center line out, it's called Che Kun or Chung Kun. Okay, or Chun Choi, okay? A lot of people must have heard the word Chun Choi. But the actual, it's all based on the Ya Ji Chung Kun. Okay? Right here, so I snap out. So if you look at this character in Chinese, character sun, Ya Ji Chung Kun. So I go 1, snap it out, open, Tan Sao, which is showing here, circle in, it's called Hun Sao, Sao Kun, retracting fist. Okay? So you do the same thing on the other side, except but you don't come to the center line and go out. You don't come on your Jom Sing, you come around and you punch it out. You open Tan Sao, Hun Sao, circle in hand, Sao Kun. As this hand comes back, you open the Tan Sao. You open your showing hand. And you go very gently. Some people have seen them go up. My teacher used to go down here. I do what's comfortable for me. Again, I got, good size upper body. I've seen people go so low and here, that it works for them. It doesn't work for me. And you do it what's comfortable for you. So I go out, Tan Sao, showing hand, Hun Sao, Wu Sao. So this is the most important part right now you're going to learn. There are 3 parts to this. They're called the 3 poisons of Wing Chun. So they're called the 3 family blocks. So if you don't understand the 3 family blocks, you're never going to develop your blocking later for JKD. Even though JKD doesn't have blocking, they call it parrying and whatever. I call it whatever you want. You're blocking somebody. You're stopping them from attacking you, using your head as a punching bag. Okay? So we're going to learn the 3 family blocks. So when I go here, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Wu Sao. So the 3 family block, the Tang family, the Fook family, and the Bong family. Okay, so you're learning these. If you actually search, I think I put up something from my book that teaches you which ones are the actual Tang blocks, the Fook blocks, and the Bong blocks. You'll understand which one does what. So we're gonna go the 3 family blocks: Tan Sao, Hun Sao, circling hand, Wu Sao. I come back very slow. So this part, usually the first part of the Siu Nim Tao, you have to do it very slow. Some people do it on grass because they feel better that way because they're more level, you have good base. Do it anywhere, okay? So we're gonna go. When we go slow here, you're gonna do what it's called 4-3 breathing. That means you're gonna go. So you gotta inhale and exhale, okay? So that's how long it's gonna take when you go from here to here. How long it's gonna take you, the distance, how much time it should take you. By inhaling and exhaling 3 times, it's called 4-3 breathing. So I'm gonna go up, 4 times breathing, 3 times back. So I'm gonna go like this. So it's gonna go. Now you go into your Wu Sao, which is you got in here, right? Then you do 3 times. You snap into the Fook Sao. Fook Sao, bridging here, okay? So that's why it's called 4-3 breathing. Some people, they just do it fast, they're in no rush, that's fine. But the proper way to do it, the first part of Wing Chun, first part of Siu Nim Tao has to be very slow. It's called 4-3 breathing. Some people might do it, 5-4 breathing, 6-5 breathing. How long, whichever way you want it to be and how long you want it to be, it's up to you, okay? Sometimes when I'm teaching a class, I would just go normal speed. Okay, I turn back. So we do this 3 times. Okay. On the 4th time, I push Pak Sao. Don't worry, I'm going to go back and re-demonstrate the whole thing, but right now I want to teach you the names, okay? So I'm going to do Pak Sao, Jin Jan, which is palm strike, and open Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. Okay? Then I'm going to do the other side, same thing, 4-3 breathing. You do it 3 times. Slow, Fook Sao, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Wu Sao, Fook Sao, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Wu Sao, Fook Sao. So you do that 3 times. On the 4th one, Pak Sao, Jin Jan, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. So now this part, I turn, Gum Jan, Gum Sao, pressing hand, or down, pressing down. And we do the other side. We do Hao, Sun, double. So it goes from here, from the back, like this, and I snap out. So you do it, you're going to go like this, from the Yiji Kim Yama. 1, 2, back. So you go Hao, Shin, front. Then you go into your Wan Jan, or Wan Sao. You snap out. So you go left hand over your right, you snap it out, you come back right over your left. Okay, you come down with Sun Jan Sao, Sun double chop here, Sun Tan Sao, double palm up blocks, Loi Jat Sao, Sun Loi Jat Sao. So you do it, it's going to go like this. Sun Bu Sao. So you're going to do the Bu Sao, Sun Loi Jat Sao. Some people don't teach this next sequence, but some do. So you're going to go Sun Kun, that means double punch, strolling hand, Han Sao, Ding Sao, J hand, or chicken neck, Sao Kun. Then you go Cow Sao, you ever catch a cow? So it's called Cow Sao, catch in hand. So if you actually whip it, I can hear it whipping So you want those fingers to whip against your ear. I could hear the actual wind. And then I go one, Noi jets out, outside jerking hand, Chandai Jan, ankle spade palm, circle back. So it goes Kao Sao, Noi jets out, Chandai Jan, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. Okay? So now we're gonna go, I'm gonna go Tan Sao, Gan Sao, Lao Sao, Hun Sao, Chandai Jan, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. Tan Sao, Gan Sao, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Chandai Jan, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. Next one we're gonna do Bong Sao, Tan Sao, Pao Sao, lift in hand, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. Bong, Tan, lift, bring it back. So the last one is called Chut Sao, scrape in hand. 1, 2, 3, place the fist on the center. 1, 2, and 3. If you notice this, any JKD guy will see where this was developed, where it came from. It's the actual straight blast of JKD, right? That's where it came from. This is the base for it. Tan Sao, Hun Sao, and Yu Sao Sik. Okay, so I'm going to go over the form again. I just wanted you to learn the names, and I hope that helps you a lot. Siu Nim Tao, the idea. Okay, Siu Nim Tao, the little idea. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes. If you guys need to go to the bathroom or anything like that, I'm going to give you about a 2-minute break, and I'll be right back. We're going to start JKD, okay? Hey guys, welcome back. So we're gonna go over now. We're gonna start JKD. Okay, there's so much at the beginning that I like to teach, but we'll take more than 2 hours. Trust me. So we're gonna go into now JKD. Okay. So we're gonna do footwork called Mabu. So footwork is very important, which is the core of JKD. If you don't do footwork, it's like a race car driver. I always tell my young guys, my young students, it's like a race car. If you flatten the tires, I don't care how big your motor is and how strong your punch is, it's not gonna make a difference. Without footwork, you're never ever gonna deliver any power. It's so important that you have to have footwork. One of Bruce Lee's students, I don't like to mention names because I don't want people to think I'm using them as for my endorsement. I don't need anybody's endorsement. He used to always say, I used to say, hey, Sifu, what are we gonna work on today? And he used to say, footwork, so important. So it's very important that we learn footwork because you cannot deliver any power without it. So first we're gonna start, it's very important, feet together. So I'm gonna do it sideways so you guys can see it more. Feet together, and I'm gonna take a very comfortable step. Most of this stuff is already on YouTube, so you guys could watch it if you wanna reference it. I go more into detail for each individual, movement, training things and like that. So you take a very comfortable step and you step here comfortable. Wider than your shoulders, you have to create that pyramid structure. It's very important. The pyramid's been up there for thousands of years for that reason, because they're pyramids, okay? Now if I would stand like this, originally Siu Bruce stood 50-50 stance. What that means is he would stand like this, 50-50. Then later on, you notice he started getting wider and wider and wider, right? Because he realized the wider the pyramids, the stronger the base. Like me, the way I would teach it, I started 50-50, so I would teach it like this, and then they went up to 40-60. So I would put more weight on the back, and the reason for that is, I'm going to give you a perfect example. So if I'm like this, 50-50, okay? If somebody's punching at me, they could reach me very, very easily. If I step just a hair, I take it back. Now he's so far away, but I can still reach the opponent. The opponent could never reach me because once I take that extra 10% back, they would have to step into my world, and that's when I do what's called intercepting. Okay? So we're gonna go just the footwork, feet together, take a very nice comfortable step, and we're gonna rotate the body. Once I rotate my feet, they face in that way, roughly about 35-degree angle. And this is the most important part. There's a lot of arguments out there. What's a better stance? To raise the heel, which is the #1 rule. You have to raise the heel. Like I said, if you don't raise your heel, you're not doing JKD. Okay? Now, a lot of people, their argument is they're going to go from toe to arch or toe to heel. A lot of people say, oh, I like to go toe to heel. Perfect. If I go toe to arch, that's beautiful. If you go toe to nothing, that's wrong. Now you're opening up your jongsing, your center line, so now you're going to get kicked in the private. So you cannot open your stance. So it's very important if I had a line lined up here between my legs here. So I'm going to take this line for instance, okay? I'm going to place my toes in my arch of my foot, my heel, and I'm going to lean back, okay? If you like to stand 50-50, great. Never stand 60 in the back, 40 in the front, and lean forward like this. You're going to get your head punched, okay? So don't stand like this. I've seen guys stand like this. They just need to do a little bit more research. So either stand 50-50, which is okay. I like to take a step back, lean back more. My body center line doesn't change. The core here, my mother line, doesn't change. Only my foot stands back here. I lean back so I could have more mobility and more spring action. Because that way I can move fast here. So when I lunge forward like a fencer, if I was like this, I don't feel I have that nice push forward. Because where JKD, you use 90% of your punching from your lead hand. If I go here, it's okay. But when I'm back here, I have more power. I could spring a lot more. With this foot, I spring it forward, and I have more development here. Okay, I generate more power. Velocity with speed equals power, right? So here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go again. This is called, I turn. Some people refer to it to the Baijian stance. I refer to it as an Baijian stance, on guard position, or your fighting stance. It's very important. Now, once I turn in, elbow in, hand only clench the moment of impact. That means you never close the fist, you never clench up, you never tighten like this. You're gonna get tired very easily. So when you go into your Baijian stance, okay, it's not Baijian, it's Baijian. So I'm gonna go here like this, and I tuck my chin down. Originally, even Siu Bruce used to stand like this tall. Then he realized you gotta tuck the chin down. My shoulder almost lays up with my chin. So when I tuck down, I want this to protect this. Elbow in, hand open. Rear hand is open. And I'm gonna go over some of the blocks first. So I'm gonna go here. You can call them parrying, whatever you wanna call them, they're blocks. So I'm gonna go here like this. Now my thumb touches my chin. I don't wanna stand tall like this. Again, you're gonna get kicked or punched in the face. I'm here, I'm protected. Elbow in, protect my ribs. Front knee, turn inward to protect your private. Rear knee is outward, ready to block or strike. From here, I move fast. So when I do my footwork, I'm gonna do what it's called step and slide. Then I'm gonna step and slide back. I go to my right now, I'm adding Western boxing, right? I move and I slide. So don't go cross your feet or your front foot like this. I would move the right, then I slide the left. When I go to the left, I move with the left, I slide with the right, I make sure my toes line up with the arch of my foot or my heel, okay? So footwork, one here, advance, retreat, right, left. Then I'm gonna do double advance, and I'm gonna do double retreat, then I'm gonna go double right, and I'm gonna do double left. Then I'm gonna go advance and retreat, retreat and advance. Then the next one here, it's called slide and step. Then I'm gonna slide and step back. So I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, even though the slide and step here, the next one I'm gonna do what it's called push shuffle instead of stepping and sliding, which is very important to pay attention to. You cannot step and slide. End up on the tightrope, you're gonna lose your balance. So when I'm here like this, if I step 1 inch, I slide 1 inch. If I step 1 foot, I slide 1 foot. So never go 1 and 2. You're gonna end up like this. So it's important. You're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna do these tiptoes, move, so your footwork stays here. So now, I'm gonna do instead of step, slide, slide, step back, I'm gonna do push shuffle. That means I'm gonna push with the ball of my foot and shuffle forward. Then I'm gonna push with the front ball of my foot and slide back, okay? So it's important to maintain that structure. Just because I'm talking and pointing, don't judge me, because I'm trying to teach you the proper, but in reality, 2, 3, okay? You push, slide, step back, okay? So I'm gonna go here, 1, okay? 2, push, shuffle, and slide. Push, shuffle, and slide back, okay? So I'm gonna go over the footwork again. Step, slide back, go to your right, go to your left, go front and back and front, slide and step back, push, shuffle, okay? Now what we're gonna do circling. Circling is just like a clock and counterclock. So we're gonna look at the clock like 12 o'clock in the middle, okay? If the 12 o'clock could be here. So if I had the clock here, this is my 12, and I'm gonna follow it. So I'm gonna go clockwise. I stand at 12, then I move to 3 o'clock, then I go to 6, then I go to 9, and I go back to 12. And if you notice, I maintain my bar John stance. And what's important, if the front foot pivots, it's like I took a nail and I nailed it down, and so it doesn't move much now. But later you become more alive, okay? So when you turn and circle, you're moving, all right? And I shuffle back. Because you're not gonna stand and do this, okay? We're not robots. This is just for teaching purposes so you understand the footwork. So we're gonna go 12, let's say, all right, let's do it that way so you understand it more. So 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Now I'm gonna do counter clock. So I'm standing at 12. I'm gonna go to what? 9. Okay, then I'm going to go to 6. Then I'm going to go to 3. Then I'm going to go back to 12. Okay, so that's JKD footwork. It's simple. Now try to master that. I've seen people, they do footwork, including myself. I still mess up. So you got to practice and become, you got to be very light on your feet, move fast. Now I'm going to explain why all this footwork. One, no, can I borrow you for a second? I'm going to give you an example, okay, why we're doing all this footwork. My son Noah, by the way. Jesus Christ, this kid's getting so tall. All right, he's my son, okay? All right, so anyway, when I'm like this, I do step, slide, punch, right? And I step, slide back. Now, I do push, shuffle, and punch. Push, shuffle to retreat. Now, I cannot go slide and punch because I'm on a tight rope. I would do slide, kick, put it down, slide back. So I would go 1, 2, 3, and back. And that's why you're going to use this footwork. So if no one moves that way, I follow them. You move that way, I follow them. You go that way, I follow them. You go that way, I follow. So that's what you learn in the footwork. Thanks, bud. So that's why you learn the footwork. So that way you understand what you need to do when you're facing an opponent, what each footwork represents. Okay? You don't just do it for the sake of doing it. But in reality, unless you're in the ring, fighting as a sport, you don't need footwork. Later, it becomes part of you. Okay? So all motions, part of one motion. So if you become part of you, it's part of your body. I move, right? If you notice, if I'm here talking to somebody on the street, I'm not walking around, hey man, leave me alone, you're not wearing your mask, by the way. So anyway, so it's like, you're not wearing your mask, they start a fight with you. And you go, oh, hold on 1 second, I'm gonna get in my bike jump stance, and hold on a second. No, it doesn't work that way. A guy shoves you, and I move back. You can notice the footwork, I can do side steps, so when I kind of deliver the punches, you can see I move. Now I'm using footwork. So you need to master the footwork. You go, whether you go forward, you want to move and turn, then you slide, you face another person. Doesn't matter which way you move, you're going to move and face them. Okay? I still try to do my best. I'm 54, I'm getting tired, man. Anyway, here's what we're going to, so again, now I want to go over some blocks, okay? So originally, if you actually read the Tao, JKD, JKD, not Tao. A lot of people say it's Tao. It's not Tao, it's Tao. So anyway, we're going to go, if you notice, you can do it from the Baijian stance, which is your on guard, or you can do it from the natural position, open up, or you can do it from the Yiji Kinminma, the Winchun stance. Okay? So I'm just going to do it just from the natural position so you can learn it. So the first block, we're going to do what's called Paksao, push in hand or push in block. Okay? We're going to do second, it's Tansao. It's not like this. I've seen people do Tansao like this. So the Tansao, the hand snaps out, palm up, so you can stop the attack. Okay? So he's going to go Tansao. So you're going to go Paksao, Tansao, Gansao, and Gamsao. And you can add your own to it later. Okay? But those are the original ones. So push in hand, show in hand, low sweep, pressing down. So Paksao, Tansao, Gansao, Gamsao. So Sao means hand. Okay? Sao means hand. So it's going to go like this. From the Yiji Kinminma, Pak, Tan, Gan, Gum. Pak, Tan, Gan, Gum. From the Baijian stance, which is that's what you've seen in the Tao, okay? Pak, Tan, Gan, Gum. Right? So these hands are here. Pak, Tan, Gan, Gum. Just the 4 blocks. Later, I would add my own. I would add the Bong, the Bu, the Wu, the Loi Jat, the Noi Jat, and so forth. I would add all these blocks. But the original ones, you see in the Tao JKD, you see those blocks. And those are the original ones you're doing from the Baijian stance. Okay? So a lot of people, I've seen people do this for Tansao. It doesn't work, So make sure the hand is up. Okay? I mean, you gotta, find out for yourself what works for you and what doesn't. Okay? So now the kicks are very important. And that's where it's called JKD. Okay? A lot of people, they say, okay, Jit is to stop or to intercept. Kun means Fist, do, not do. A lot of people say, oh, I saw you do Jikun-do. It's not Jikun-do, it's Jikun-do, like do. Okay? So you're going to go, Jit is to stop with the intercept. Kun's fist, do is the way. So Jikun-do, the way of the intercepting fist. Or foot. So now, when we go from when we do the kicks, the first kick, it's called front kick, it's jik tak. Tak means leg or kick, okay? So jik, front, not jit, it's jik, J-I-C-K, okay, jik. So jik tak. Second one is called ow, means, in karate we call it a roundhouse kick. In Jikudo we call it a hook kick because it resembles the hook. So ow tak. Third kick is called jik tak. Jik tak is here. So I'm just gonna stop here. So I'm gonna go. Some people they do it. They do the jit like jit to stop. I've seen people they just really lean back. Whichever way works for you. So jit to stop and juk is the side kick. Side kick juk tak. And back kick is how. I usually like to do it with the left because I don't like to cross my center line, end up with the left lead. But I do teach it lefty and righty, okay? So it's important. So you're gonna go jik, ow, jik, juk, how, okay? So it's nice to teach it to the students. You can teach it to them in Cantonese, okay? But if you want to teach it in English, which is a good idea too. So front kick, hook kick, or roundhouse, stop kick, side kick, back kick. Okay? That's it. Those are just for the kicks and the blocks. So now we're going to teach you what's called elbows. I barely see any guys teach the elbow. So they just teach one elbow, whatever. But exactly, there's a sequence that you can teach it. Or you can learn it. So John means elbow. So we're going to go first elbow, hey John. Second one, pai John. Outward, sung John. Sao John, Guai John, Chum John, and there's another one I don't like to say because it kind of sounds dirty English word, so I don't say it. So I'm going to go hey, pai, sung, sao, guai, chum. Okay? So again, hey John, pai John, sung John, sao John, guai John, chum John. Upward elbow, inward elbow, outward elbow, backward elbow, overarching elbow, and downward elbow. Okay? So if you want to do it with a closed fist, you can. I like to open my hand so I get that snap down when I do it. Instead of doing this, now it's eating up all your energy when I come down on somebody like this versus I snap it down. So when the elbow, I start here and I turn down. So the hand drops into somebody's. So if you take somebody, so when I strike, if you notice same exact reaction and action, I go, I turn, the hand backs it up with the wusa. So I would go hit, down, up. So you notice the hand, it kind of gives a little flick. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, that's too tight and too tense. So you want to stay loose and relaxed, okay? So practice that on both hands and both sides, or both arms, or whichever way you want it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So now I'm going to teach you what's called palm strikes. Again, a lot of people don't teach palm strikes. They might teach BUG. It's not Bill. It's not, I don't know who Bill is, but it's called BU, BUG, finger jab. So BUG, so we're going to start with palm strike. Okay? So we're going to go Jin Jan. This way. Upward palm strike. Or forward palm strike. Chun Jan. Angle spade palm strike. Chun Dai Jan. Lower strike. Pao Jan or Pao Sao. Upward Pai Jan. So I'm going to go here. Jin Jan. Chun Jan. Chun Dai Jan. Pao Jan. And upward Pao Jan. Okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Or now you could do add, which is called fan sao, chop in here. Then you go into the wu sao. A lot of people they think this here because you're doing Wu Sao. Wu Sao is not like this. You would see like Wing Chun guys stand like this. I'm sure they understand the theory behind it, because you go like this. When you do the actual Wu Sao, I could hit you with my Wu Sao guarding hand and really break the jar here or something. Because if you just push like this, it has no power. If I would rotate and snap, then you could just cut into somebody's jaw here. You could really do some damage. So if somebody comes at you, you could either go straight, outward, straight, and outward. So either way, now instead of doing punches, you could do palm strikes. Finger jab works. It's a great technique, but you know, unless you have long nails and the other guy's really mad at you, and those finger jabs, they're gonna collapse. So I'd rather use more palm strike hit if you don't want to use the fist, or you could use the Wu Sao guarded hand, or you could do angle spy palm. You hit them on the side of the face, or upward underneath here, or you could hit them right to the private area. Okay, so it's very important that you could do all the strikes. So all these strikes, all these weapons, all these tools, they're in your toolbox. Use them. So now, if you don't want to use them, don't use them. If you just want to do the straight lead punch, good for you. It's never going to be the answer for everything, because you're going to be needing something at one particular attack, or somebody coming at you like crazy, because each person fights differently. That's why it's nobody's way. But there's a certain way to block and strike back and kind of win the fight, okay? So it's important to learn all these strikes and blocks. If you want to call them parrying, that's fine, okay? So that's important. So now a lot of people, they use the headbutt too. You could use a headbutt. I know a lot of Wing Chun guys, they use a headbutt. You headbutt somebody, you could use that as a weapon. I mean, I need my hand, so I need to keep what I have, so I try not to use too much headbutt, okay? So those are the elbow strikes, palm strikes, kicking, and punching. So now I'm going to go over what it's, some people, I would ask them a question, how many ways of attack in JKD? And they look at me like, huh? I'm like, okay, so that's why I said, there's a theory and principle you have to follow to learn JKD. You can't just, I'm doing JKD. Okay, great. How many ways of attack in JKD? So people look at me like, oh, we don't know. So originally, there used to be 4 ways of attack. Then Siu Bruce added another attack to it. Okay? So the 5 ways of attack it's SDA. I call it, single direct attack, but originally it was called simple direct attack. But it was more popular. People said single means singular attack. You punch, you do 1 kick, or 1 punch, or 1 elbow, 1 strike. Okay? Or simple. We keep your technique simple. It's kind of, if you look at both of them up in the dictionary, simple and single. I mean, you're keeping your things very simple as singular. You're not doing a combination. So the next attack is ABC, attack by combination, ABC. So ABC, so you got SDA, so SAA, single angular attack, or you could do SDA, or you could do attack by combination is ABC. So attack by combination, you use different combinations. Now you start mixing it up a little bit. You move, you do. That's the second wave attack in JKD. Third attack is called PIA, progressive indirect attack. Okay, so now what that means, progressive indirect attack. So you fake them and you move. So I can fake and move. So a lot of times, if I stand in front of somebody, I'll be like here, I move, and then I move forward. Or I would just fake up and I move forward. It's like fainting. PIA, progressive indirect. I faked my opponent. I would go this, then I would move. For example, I would go here, then I kick, then I could move here. Okay? So I mix it up. So single, so the 4th one is called HIA, which is a lot of JKD guys don't do, or they don't believe in. It's hand immobilization attack. Hand immobilization attack is the core of what I teach. I teach the gates, which is all hand trapping. You could do foot trapping, but HIA means hand immobilization attack. So I'm specifically doing just hand traps, okay? And those are the gates. That's what I teach. I teach 27 gates. Originally, I only learned 8, and then some people would add to it. They make it different, but it doesn't. It works for them. That's great. And what I've seen Siu Bruce do roughly about 8. The original student, I watched him only do 4, and but I wanted more because I realized as I went on to teach, those 4 gates never worked. The 8 gates never worked. Somebody that's stronger, bigger, and faster than you, you go to do the hand trap. That's why a lot of people say, hand traps don't work. I'm like, yes, they don't work with the 4 gates you learn because you're so limited. See, now we're back to the core symbol. Because you're so limited with your technique, or with your 4 gates or 8 gates, you cannot defend an attack if somebody's coming at you. So that's why it's important that I created 27 gates. The 27 gates have a strong representation or strong meaning. I stopped at 27 because C. Joe Bruce's birthday is November 27th, 1940. So I stopped at number 27. It doesn't mean you have to stop at number 27. You could do as many as you like. If you could look up 27 gates on YouTube, you're gonna find them. I teach all 27 gates. I taught them and I wrote them down, but honestly, if you actually ask me a specific gate, I have no idea. And you're gonna think, oh, where did you pick them up from? No, I created them as I was writing my book and doing my videos. So this game, they have to be natural. Remember we talked about the 3 phases of the JKD of teaching? So we're gonna teach empty. When you're empty, you don't think. If you start thinking, you're gonna lose. Because you cannot teach gates. I only teach them so a person understands them and learns them. Once you learn the gates, you become the gates, you no longer need them. There's no number, there's no specific number, because each attack is treated differently. Somebody might come at you with a jab, cross, hook, uppercut, knee, elbow, step in, grab you, shoot you down. So each gate is actually going to be it's called Buckeye, Buck G. For every attack, there's a counter. Okay? So remember that. Buckeye, Buck G. For every attack, there's a counter. So any attack you give me, you're going to find something in one of my gates to actually respond to it or actually counter it. Okay? So that's why you need to learn them. But once you learn them, you only need to master one of those gates. Not necessarily, which is I teach gate 1, which is if you watch Enter the Dragon, Siu Bruce was teaching what's called Pakta. Pakta, push, punch. Push, punch, right? It's a Wing Chun drill. A lot of people probably don't know that, but it's called Pakta. Pakta means push, punch. So that's my gate 1. But you only need to master 1 because you only need to counter that attack at that particular moment. So who the hell cares what number it is? So that's why when I teach it, I only teach maybe to 12, 14. I kind of memorize them. And the rest, forget it. I have no idea. I write them down just to go reference it. But actually, I can look at it and I know exactly what to do because I wrote it, okay? So that's why when somebody says the gates don't work or hand trappings don't work, they're absolutely 100% wrong. I could kind of like, I don't challenge nobody. I just say, I could demonstrate and show you that it does work, okay? There's no such thing it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you didn't search it deeper, you didn't train deep enough to actually face these attacks. As I said, I faced many people. I trained with karate guys, judo guys, aikido guys, jiu-jitsu guys, kempo, shotokan, kickboxing. And so I kind of learned from these guys from my own mistakes. They would do a certain thing, and I would I need to learn how to defeat that guy. Okay? So that's how these gates came along. Because I would be teaching, and somebody would grab my hand, and I'm like, okay, gate 1 didn't work, gate 2 didn't work. Oh, maybe gate 14 will work, you know? So that's why it's very important that you learn these gates. Please look them up on YouTube. They're called JKD 27 Gates. I put them up. They're very important. And I was young and handsome back there. I was much faster than that. You know, I can't, right now I'm too slow, I guess. All right, so the gates, the last one is called attack by drawing. So attack by drawing, you draw your opponent into you. Then you hit him, okay? Because it's like pretty much like PIA, progressive indirect attack. You feint in it. But attack by drawing, you invite him. You invite, then you attack. You let him think you're weak or you can't defend the attack. If somebody's coming at you, come on, man, they're going here, they're moving around, and you're like, oh, wait. Then you attack them because you let them assume that you can't fight. I would drop my hands, I'm like, please don't hurt me. Then everything becomes one, then you hit. So you draw them into the attack. It's very important. So you let them assume that you're weak. So don't mistake weakness for what? Oh, niceness for weakness, right? All right, so if I was like very nice to you, don't assume I'm weak, okay? So that's important. So you got 5 ways of attack JKD. SDA, ABC, PIA, HIA, and ABD, okay? Single direct attack, attack by combination, progressive indirect attack, hand immobilization attack, and attack by drawing. Those are the 5 ways. Originally there was 4. Okay, Bruce added 1 more after that. Excuse me. So now, what would you like to go over, Noah?
Traps.
All right, so make sure you guys ask questions because I like to answer later on. So those are the very, very basic of JKD. So That's a lot. Believe me, I showed you a lot today. Usually this will take you, that will take you up, if you were training with me, maybe to a purple belt. So, but you're not going to learn the gates. You're only going to learn 4 gates. That's it. So, but once you learn these, that will take you almost to a purple belt level. And each level, the way I rank belts, every 3 months you get a belt. Okay? Once you get to a black belt, I make you wait a year for a certificate. Okay? It takes much longer. So I'm going to use now for a second. Okay. So here's what we're going to go over, right? Remember, if a person, we're going to go over some basic locks, okay? So a person grabs you here. You can see he's pulling, I can pull. But a lot of people, they try to pull you out of a club, or they say, hey, come on, you don't have your mask on, you need to get out. So it's very important I turn. So if you notice, I pin the hand and I turn simultaneously. What did it go to? It went into an actual wusao, garden hand. Now, if I'm natural like this, I move into my Bajjan stance. No one said I could take the hand here and here. I could break the knee here. So I could use all that Jingyo, which is the invisible kick. Whether you do it from the front, or you could do, you don't want to do a stop kick, okay? Because if I'm going like this and I do a stop kick, I open up my face for a nasty hook, okay? So you don't want that. So I would face him here. Now, what it's called, advantage of facing. I could punch him, he can't punch me. So it's very important. So when I turn like this, I pull him away, he can't use that hand. I could break his knee here, I could come in and punch him here, I could do all that. So I'm gonna go turn, and I could bring him from here, from this position, you're gonna go down. So that's why it's very important that when you turn somebody here, take advantage of facing. You could take him down, now you could kick him in the face, you could do whatever you want from here. So let's go from this side more. Now, if no one throws a punch, for example, I do puck style. If you notice that most people, they do parry, right? So I would go like this. Now, but don't stay in the front of the punch. You want to go on the outside of the punch. So now you're learning advantage of facing. So when I move here, you can see I do what I did. Not only what I did, I learned everything I learned earlier, I'm applying to just a single punch. If he's coming in, I go watch. I did Tansao, Paksao, and I punch Chukun. That's all from Siu Nim Tao, right? Tansao from Siu Nim Tao, throw punch, Paksao from Siu Nim Tao. So you're learning all these, right? So that's why it's important to learn Siu Nim Tao form, because you need to learn these blocks. So I could just sit there and he does this, but where did it come from? That's why it's important to know that it came from Siu Nim Tao. Okay, that's the family blocks. That's why I call them blocks, not parry. So he comes in, I move here. He comes in here, I move here. He comes in here, I move here. You can see I move here. So these are all single. You can come in 1, 2, 1 and 2. Now you could call it parry, or you could call it block. I could now move. I use my footwork. Okay. So that's why if I stand like this, here, come in. I can't do that, right? So you need footwork, 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 because you want to close that gap. So if he comes in 1 and 2, now I open here. Now if I can't reach him, I slide, step, kick, and I step in. So now what is important is we're going to do hand before foot. So hand before foot, I don't go here, right? So if I'm going to go 1, so if I go here, when I kick him, I'm going to land and hit. So I'm not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go, right? So once the foot moves here, don't drop, then punch. You're going to go 1, kick, before it hits the floor, you hit. And that's how you're going to generate power. You're going to generate power from just moving, boom, I move together. Now that's how you notice you're doing the gates, right? So if he comes in here, comes with this hand, hit, break. You can do different techniques from the gates. You can apply different, one. These are all from Siu Nim Tao. Come in with the other hand. So jab cross up. 1, 2, 3, right? So that's all from Siu Nim Tao. So if I go 3, right? Watch. Woo, pak, woo, pak. Together. Because if he's very strong, so if we go 1, 2, 3, I'm going to eat that hook. So that's why 1, 2, 3. I use 2 of them as one motion. Okay? Now, if it goes jump, cross, hook, hook, right? Again, I would go 1, 2, block, block. Because if I don't, go slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's dying to hit me. Okay? So I'm gonna go 1, 2, stop him. Stop him. So this force, that's, watch. This is Paksao or Jin Jin, right? I'm doing this block here. Here, look, Jin Jin. Palm strike. Or here, Bujong here. Bujong or Fuksao. Bridging hand from Siu Nim Tao or Bujong Sao. Come in. Now they come in hook. Here. So I do like Bujong. My hand kind of, if I had water in my hand, I'm flicking it. So it's very important. Hook. Down. So Bujong Sao here. So I'm just throwing the water at him. Then I move. Now you could use all your JKD stuff. 1, 2. It springs from here to here. Then I can move. Then I move back. Then I kick. Boom, boom. And I step in. I do my combinations. Okay? So I hope you like that. So, you want to see if anybody has any questions?
We turned the
It's not
restriction
on?
off. Yeah, it's not on.
Okay.
Live chat isn't on.
All right. Okay.
Want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a 2-minute break, okay? And I'll come back, I promise. Okay, guys, hi. So if you notice, we brought this to the wooden dummies. Again, I've seen JKD guys, and I refer to JKD guys because I want the JKD guys to be teaching Jung Feng JKD or Jung Feng Kung Fu. Okay, it's so important that don't forget the core. You can strictly teach JKD. To me, that's just kickboxing, strong side forward. Okay, so it's very important that you learn the core where Sijo Bruce taught, and if you want to follow the legacy, it's very important to teach or learn the way he was teaching it. Okay, so this is called the Mukyon Jan Fat Yat Lim Bak. So I'm going to show you the 108 wooden dummy motions. So that means you're going to do 108 techniques on this wooden dummy. The Mukyon Jan, it's the wooden dummy or the wooden post. Okay, a lot of JKD guys. That's great, okay? So I do it sometimes, it's fun, it's a lot of fun. But when I really teach it, I teach the Mukyon Jan Fat Yat Lim Ba. I teach 108 wooden dummy motions. So they are the wooden dummy is split into sequences, and it's actually split into 2 parts. The first major part is 60 movements, and you do the following 48. So you have 108 total. I believe Master Ebman, he taught 116 movements originally. Then he changed it because a lot of the movements were overly repeated. And if you notice, and even in the wind dummy form right now, you notice a lot of the techniques are overly repeated. And I'm sure they have their reasons. I mean, I like it. I have no complaints. So it's important to learn this wooden dummy. Now, a lot of people can't afford it or they don't have a wooden dummy. I always tell them, buy a bedpost, like find one in a yard sale somewhere, or get like an actual chair and take the legs off. Make sure they're round, not the square ones. Or buy like an old table for like $5, right? And take the legs off, cut them up, and mount them to an actual board. And you can mount them on your tree, but don't screw onto the tree. You know, strap it around a tree, or you can actually put like a plant hook on the back of it, and you can hang it on your door. You know, so now you have 3 arms. You don't need the leg, because you could just pretend there's a leg there, right? So if you really can, you can make a wooden dummy under $5. Just find an old chair, find an old table, find like a bedpost somewhere, cut it up, make, you know, the 3 arms, screw them to a flat, you know, piece of, I don't know, 5/8 or ½ inch plywood, and just mount it, and there goes your wooden dummy, right? So these actually wooden dummies weren't that expensive. These are made out of PVC. They're very cheap. They're actually only like $400, I think. So, but I don't go hard on them because I could break them. They're very thin. You can make your own. It's not that expensive. So why am I showing you the wooden dummy? Because what the wooden dummy does, even if you don't want to learn the actual techniques, the wooden dummy acts like a mold. So you can place your hand precisely on the attack. So if somebody's coming in, this represents a punch from both sides, jump cross, for example, and a punch forward or kick forward. And this is the knee and the leg. You could hook the knee, the knee here. You could hook it. These knees are really horrible. These legs are horrible. So there, you could kick the top of it here, or you could hit to the body. And then out of the pad, you can actually punch to it. And this represents the head. Originally, the JKD wooden dummy, Siu Bruce used, had a neck on it. I got one in my house. So it has a neck. It's shaped like a head, and it's an actual neck. And the actual leg was made out of steel, okay? And so somebody built that for Siu Bruce, and that he used to practice on it and so forth. So, but I always like to stick to the traditional wooden dummy. The traditional wooden dummy is just straight up and down post, okay? It doesn't have a neck, has no shapes of a human, okay? That's why you just use a post. John means post, okay? So if you just want to practice, maybe for example, your 4 blocks, I would go park, right? Come. Now if you notice, I use footwork. Footwork's called choma, pivoting stance. Instead of staying pivoting stance, can you see my feet now? And now? Yeah, okay. So if you pivot.
Take 1 step back. Yep.
Right here. I mean, you can move the camera back a little bit so you can see it. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
Yep.
All right, so choma means pivoting stance, right? You have to move. If you just try to do your technique like this, you don't move, you're kind of on the tightrope, you're not going to generate that much power, and you're kind of going against your center line. So if I'm going like this, I pivot, I could block, I could pivot, I'm generating power. Because every block is an actual strike. I tell people that all the time. Because if you have a strong pucks out, push your hand, you can hit somebody to the jaw here and break their jaw. You could boom, pucks out, right? You could push them. You could really hurt them. Now if you do tons out, you can hit somebody to the side of the neck and knock them out, right? You could do guns out. Somebody tries to throw a hard kick at you. You just do a guns out. You could strike them and break that leg or really put it out of commission, okay? Guns out. I could gun you right into private, okay? So I could just go right there and just crush something, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. So you can, if you don't want to learn the dummy, that's fine. Practice your actually pucks out, three-handed move. So this wooden dummy is actually teaching you like a mold. It's becoming a mold. Now by footwork is very important. So I pivot, so I turn. See, I turn. 1, 2, so here I turn. So this is teaching me to roll, and it kind of, if I do it the wrong way, my hand will hit here. Because that's not moving. A human does move, this doesn't move. So if I go here, I have to adjust my body to make it fit, okay? So that's important. So now, what makes this more difficult for you is you have to move around the actual dummy. So now you have to do sidestep. You sidestep, you block, right? You notice now, I'm using, a lot of people think JKD is right lead. you only fight with the right side forward or strong side forward. They think that's all you do. A lot of people, they can win this, they're using this a lot. They're wrong. That's why it's important to learn left and right. Like I could fight lefty and righty just as efficiently. So I could go from both sides because I can move here and I can move here, right? But if I'm facing you, I face you this way. I don't face you this way. So that's why it's important to learn this. It's going to teach you how to attack or respond to an opponent from the left side to the right side and on the center line. And the leg is in the way. If you don't, you're going to trip on the leg and you're going to go, or if you go like this, you're going to be on the tightrope like this. Okay, your block is going to be really bad. If I'm going here, my block is going to be like this. And I've noticed people, they go, pucks out, they go like that. Okay, if somebody's coming at you with a strong punch and you do this, you're going to break your fingers. Oh, it's going to slip off. That's why it's important to shape it like a mitten. So it's called a mitten now? The baseball mitten?
Glove.
Glove? Okay, it's like a baseball glove. If you notice, I don't do much sports. This is my life right here, JKD. So if I go here, I cup the hand. I turn and I cup it. So I never miss that. So when this comes here, I pivot, I block it. I don't do this because it's going to slip. Somebody throws a punch at you, I slip. So it's important to cup it. Okay? Now, if you do the tons out, again, you can't go like this because if somebody's coming with a hook, like you notice Noah was doing, boom, I could get hit because it doesn't have a strong base here. My hand's like this in the tons out. If you actually look on the Tao, you know, it's a bad figure, it's a bad drawing. It's like this. So somebody that doesn't understand is going to put their hand up like that for the tons out. It's here. Because if I'm here, so if somebody comes at me with a hook, I'm going to mount it. I have more power. So you can see here, I'm kind of bracing it against my body. So I have all that support to stop that hook when I step and block it. If I would just do this, that's going to collapse on my face. And it's not going to be very effective. So you tons out. So same thing with the tons out. I press down, I lock it. Instead of going like this. Okay, you want to turn the hand inward and block. Guns out, it goes down here on an angle. Instead of just going like this, it already passed your center line and you might get hit. Where this is teaching you to throw it down on an angle so you cut it. It's called cut an angle. I cut it. I cut it. See, you cut it. So once you cut, down, okay? Palm, pop, okay? So I'm going to show you a little bit of the wooden dummy, the first 60 movements, so you get an idea why I do it and why I teach it. So this dummy is really bad. It's not as, again, the height is wrong, everything's wrong on it. The actual wooden dummy, the Wing-Chun wooden dummy, if you walk up to it from the JKD Ma stance, which is the mother stance, when you walk up, this should not be poking you up here in your collarbones. It should be poking you at the chest, because that's the proper height. So when I go here, right, this could be a strike to somebody's temples, right? One, I drop down, I pull, bend, I go into the JKD Ma. If I walk up to it, the arms are too big, too high. So that's a wrong height. Okay, but it's fine, we make it work. Again, I don't do it nobody's way, it works for me, because if I'm fighting a taller person, I want to be able to block it from any position, right? So I'm here like this. So now the hand places the hand in Wusao. So I got two hands. I'm going to place them on the center line between the three arms. So Wusao. Now the hand's going to go into the top, how I pivot. If you notice, I pivoted Choma here. I didn't just go here, I lifted. Because that, again, look the way it is. It's awful. So when I turn, I pivot. I grab a pull, lops out, pull in hand, I strike. I've seen people go to the back of the dummy and pull. The way I learned it, I go here, grab, I squeeze somebody's throat, chungang, and I squeeze down. Okay? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm coming around, and I lift will bounce out. Don't go like that, right? So when I go 1, 2, squeeze, palm. Now this is what you're going to do footwork, whether you do JKD footwork or Wing-Chun footwork. 1, 2, 3. I block out. You learn in simultaneous movements. You could block and strike. I open up. I clear my foot around that leg. Okay? So it's going to go. Right? Step, step. Jump, jump. So you're learning simultaneous movements now. Noi quan sao. Look. Pao sao, tan sao. Over. Come down, just foot. Gan jam, right? You can hit because when I step, I turn face the dummy and turn. It's not like 1, 2. Sometimes when I do it fast, I would do the same thing. Looks okay. But when you're teaching it the proper way, you have to do every move very slow because it's going to teach you to mold your hand around those arms or around the leg or around the dummy. So you want to be able to flow around that. If that was a real opponent, you want to be able to move around it. Okay? So I'm going to go. You notice my arms pull in, not like that, so I don't go. Okay, I've seen people. No, pull. You notice I clamp on the dummy. I'm not holding on, but I can pull this right off the wall because the way I place my hand and focus out, or one juts out here, elbows in. So you're grabbing somebody like this, and you're trying to, in the clinch, you can't grab them like this in the clinch. I would grab them here. The arms go around them like this. So I would go here, pull, turn, pop up. So the arms go 1, 2. Now, again, you're not just learning the right, you're learning the left. I would place, 1, squeeze, turn, 1. You're gonna learn to fight lefty and righty. You learn to strike low. Now this is where this part fits into JKD. Park, pivot. Park, pivot. Park, pivot. Hand and moose out. Pull juts out. Punch out. Choke hook. Shovel hook. Okay? So it's gonna go. Turn and pivot. So this could be a punch to your stomach, or it could be a knife attack. If I'm standing here, somebody's trying to jam the knife, boom, I turn, die bounce out, low wing arm deflection, right? So I'm gonna go here, boom, turn, strike, step back. Now you're using the footwork, move, down, break, open. Now it's gonna teach you simultaneous movement. Now it's gonna teach you triple, kick punch, 1. Boom, everything simultaneously. Okay? So when I go here, when I turn, right? See, it's teaching you all that stuff. You learn the simultaneous movements. It's very important. If you just want to do basic, just make sure you use footwork, kind of create your own technique, and so forth. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back now. We're going to bow out. Okay? Okay, I want to thank everybody for watching and showing up. I'm hoping I'm going to post that on YouTube if you missed it. I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff too. It's a lot to teach and come up with live. It's like teaching a class. So before each class, we bow in and we bow out. So we're gonna bow out. JKD get live, bow out. So I'm gonna go sub chi sao, quan sao, sao kun, get live. Thank you for watching and stay safe and hopefully to see everyone by next week. Thank you so much.